everybody, welcome back to another all-new X's for Show, where you can check us out at X's for Show on all your social medias. As for me, I'm Nico Action, Nicoation.
And I'm TK. You can find me at TK Elemental.
Hey, Jonah.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm Jonah. You can find me places at Peak Jonah. That's Peak.
And I'm Tori. You can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
And that makes me your producer, Kevo. You can find me at Kevo Rayleigh. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so that we know what you want us to cover in the future. But today, we have a mission. We have a very special mission, do we not?
Oh, we do. It is quite the playlist. When we saw that this was going to be a brand new Rusical this week on All Stars 9, we definitely threw in and said, hey, let's talk about some classic Rusicals. And Jonah put together a list of all 17 Rusicals that have come. You know, every season doesn't have one. Some season has more than one. I will say that an awful number of them devolve into 1950s and 60s-esque pastiches that have nothing to do with the rest of the, let's go with modern tinged hip-hop songs going on in the show. But that has nothing to do with anything, and I'm going to be very positive, mostly. So I want to start with Rusicals. Just on the whole, I am very positive. How about you guys?
Oh,
I love them.
I think it's kind of a mixed bag.
That's fair.
I appreciate the tradition upon which the Rusical is built. I will save some of my thoughts for when we start ranking, because I will be able to get a lot of them out immediately, because where we start is a very important place, and where we end up as of this week, I have questions about.
Well, I'm really stoked. Tori, you gave a big thumb. I heard big thumb. Very thumb positive.
Yeah. Yes, we love a thumb or two. I love musicals. I've based a lot of my career on musicals, so I'm very excited. It allows me kind of to peek, as someone who hasn't seen a whole lot of drag shows, to peek into like the more vaudevillian side and the really goofy, crazy side of things. And I just think they're really fun. I do wish that we had more of the queen singing, or we just said the queens don't sing in the Rusicals because there's so much else going on. But, we make choices be made.
Ma'am, I got notes about how many they sing in. They sing in 6.
Oh, I noticed, because I went to write that down.
Thank you. So we're going to get to it, but let me tell you, it really skews my numbers when they sing.
I really enjoy the Rusical. It's one of my favorite challenges. I do think the term musical is a little disingenuous, because these aren't really musicals. A musical is, for lack of a better way of boiling it down for the most basic plot points, is a story that has singing for characters to explain their emotions or to further the plot along. Most of the time that doesn't really happen in a Rusical. Sometimes it does. I think, to give an example, to talk about the first one very briefly, Shade the Rusical technically does. We have good Penny and then we have bad Penny, and that follows a Rusical. That follows a musical. We see the character progression of the character of Penny. Most of the other ones do not follow any sort of actual plot or structure. I will give a pass to the history, the unauthorized versions, which give like a history of a person's career, and they usually do songs in those styles. So that, like, in my mind makes sense if we want to do like a musical retelling of someone's life. But for the most part, I prefer when the queens sing. They don't have to sing live, because that's a very specific skill I think that Broadway actors or musical actors have, of being able to sing and dance and act and do everything live with a microphone, as opposed to just pre-recording it and just having to lip sync it. For my money, as long as it's good, I'm happy with it. But there are some that I did not, upon rewatching all of them.
Yeah.
I just want to even chime in a little bit further that it's more than just it has to further the plot, like, because that's to say that anytime you tell a joke, it's a sitcom. Like, there's
According
things
to the Emmys.
There's something about, like, there needs to be a concept of song and sound. The fact that so many of these just are 10 genres. Like, there is no musical.
So many of them are reviews, but
But a review would even be in one decade or genre. This is literally trying to hit everything for every single category. No review would do that.
I think you can justify it as a review because of the whatever the theme is. So it's a share review. It's a review that is a send up of Divas Live. Like, I can kind of get there, but then I know that review doesn't roll off the tongue the way that Rusical does. So it feels most of all like a branding thing.
Yeah, and fashion photo reviews had that on lock for a while.
True.
I mean, you can categorize these as as histories, as actual like plot points, and as movie remakes, and that covers basically all of them.
Then I think we got to jump in because we're talking this thing, and we want you guys to vote at home along with us over on our badass tier maker. We love this program. You can get this link down in our chat. This is a great opportunity for you guys to let us know what you think, because we see all of you watching along, and we love you. You're amazing. So I do want to say that something that we've been talking about a lot lately, and I actually kind of do care. I'll sometimes say something that's kind of, I guess, musically technical to some people, and they'll be like, well, that's just a you thing. And it's like, but I understand that's why human ears react that way. I might know the reason for the, let's go with emotional chemical reaction, but it's still something where a scientist would be able to say, but that is what it is. So whether or not you're saying it's too much, like, so I know that I'm going to be coming at it from a kind of a musicals guy perspective, but one of the things that I'm like really excited about is talking about the different ways that we're going to be able to engage with that. Because like Tori and I have, I would say, equitable musical experience, but very different in so many ways. And so it's so exciting because no matter what your level is, whether it's, been doing musicals your whole life, or you discovered musicals through this, kind of like it would sometimes seem Rue did, it's really exciting to hear your take on it. Also, I just want to say, this is probably my favorite mix I have done for a song in some time. This Cascada, Every Time We Touch mix, this is what I'm very proud of. Rue, I know you're listening. Mama, this is something you should hire me over.
Also, I do just want to point out that she did discover it on the show. When the show started, and she and Michelle still do a podcast, but she and Michelle have always done this podcast, and I used to listen to it a lot. And a big thing that they would talk about all the time is Michelle has always loved musicals and knows so much about Broadway and musicals, and Rue really did not like them. And she would talk a lot about it because Michelle would say, like, I saw this show, I love Sutton Foster, all this stuff, and Rue would always say, like, not for me, I find them too precious, I'm not into them. And literally, so this is like after season 6, 7, 8 that this is still being said. Around 9 or 10, I think, I think she gets her to go like Merrily We Roll Along or something, and it's in LA even. It's not even a Broadway thing. And Rue is like, oh shit, I might be into musicals. And then like starts to get into musical theater. But literally, Nico, as you said, that is a correct observation. She did kind of just get into it during the show.
I sometimes feel like Leland and Lucian did as well, because
Lucian did not get into it. He was simply paid to be there.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it, but a lot of these don't actually, it's almost like they were given a fact sheet about musicals and went from there. But one that I don't think you can say that about is the one we're gonna kick this shebang off with.
What's a Leland and Lucian?
They're the guys.
We'll talk about it in 1 second.
They're the guys that wrote all of the music for Drag Race for the first 16, 17 years. They did all the music for Rue, all the music for the show. They were cheap, easy go-tos instead of having to hire people every single week. It just happens that they hired some talented people, and a talented person and a crazy person. So it's the Clintons. So let's start with season 6, episode 4, Shade the Rusical. We're going to get to the fact that there are four jukebox Rusicals featuring Rue music, none of which are sung by the queens because Rue won't stand somebody singing better than her to her face. But
except for season 7, where she made all those queens re-record one song that she had picked for them, which was very bizarre.
So true. But what I want to say is, live vocals are a disaster. Don't do them. This is terrible. This is so not
On rewatch, I thought it went better than
Right
I
off the
remembered.
bat, this is my first S. It might be my only S. This
no.
isn't.
It's amazing. But
Okay.
the live vocals are a
Well,
disaster.
so this is the thing. I don't feel they are a disaster. I do feel they are objectively bad, but in a way that works for what it is, and it's why it's so surprising to me that they get so squirrely about doing live vocals, because like Bianca immediately gets it. Dude, nobody ever wants to hear Bianca Del Rio sing a song for any reason,
No,
except
Tori wants to hear Bianca Del Rio.
I mean, I do, but I know exactly what she's doing because it's what I do, which is to lie under the harmony way, way, way down.
Well, she knows how to perform and be professional, and it's actually, we saw it, this AS9 with Chanel was another example of something that we see very rarely, and a few people on there actually were really great about this, but it actually, for this level of what you're being asked to do, you can entertain people in a setting where you can't necessarily sing.
She's a man with one eye.
Yes, it's such a good line.
It's
It's also
guys in wigs is
it's
just
funny. It was well written. Unfortunately, some people don't perform as well. Like Gia just doesn't do great, but it's still kind of funny to watch because she's Gia. But that like it's a funny character. Somebody else could have made it work. I don't know. This being the first season that I watched, seeing that like everything about this is just so many good memories, and upon watching it later, I was so surprised that this really is S for me. This is one of the best ones. Some of it might just be kismet and things lining up that they never could again, but it really is special, even the parts that are bad.
I give it an A. I'm not saying it's bad because like some of the other ones are genuinely poorly written or constructed faultily. The big problem here is, and this is where we like sometimes talk, and like I say, I don't want to hear people tell me that I'm too critical of the music unless every single one of you studied with Twyla Tharp and Elizabeth Arden. I don't want to hear anything about clock and makeup and dance. But like, this is one where I actually think it's sort of like, if you clock them for the problems, you're the problem. They're not live performers. But so then like, I'm just saying this should not have been live is all I'm saying. Because I do love it. It gets an A. It's so special.
I think they were just trying to do something else. I think this is the first ever Rusical, point blank period ever. And I think part of it also, they have two contestants from American Idol, both Australian and US. I think they wanted to give them something. And I also give this an A. I don't know if I can give it a perfect S. There are plenty. I love the one-liners. I think a couple of people have some good one-liners. Adore and Courtney sound amazing. Dayla does amazing. For the most part, nobody does horrendously bad.
Truly, Dayla is such an unsung hero in this. Truly.
I go back and listen to Adore's part a lot. I just the way she starts. Adore's voice is just so beautiful. So I personally give this one an A.
Same. Tori, you know, as my fellow musical theater professional, pushes up glasses, how are you feeling about, as they would pronounce it in Brooklyn, Sade, the musical?
I really dislike that they don't let us change our answers. So I give it a B because I'm apparently going to be the mean one today. But
B for Bianca.
I spent this was the first one where I rewatched it and I went, I thought this was supposed to be bad. Of course, Courtney and Adore are killing it. Ben de la Creme was killing it. This is the first time I've ever actually noticed Bianca in it because I spent the first 6 episodes of the season deeply in love with Ben de la Creme. But
this is Adore slander.
Adore's great. It's what she does. If she had biffed it, I don't know. But most everyone else didn't really know what they were doing. They had no idea about how you bring in the audience with your body language without talking to the audience. And I think they all panicked with live vocals. And I think they probably would have been stronger if they had been recorded. So I gave it a B because it is the first one.
I'll say this is one of two where their mouths actually sync up to the performance.
It's nice.
That is the worst fucking part of a Rusical. I understand it's a lot of words, but my goddamn, it's like, it seriously is sometimes like they're singing two different versions. It's like Dylan and Hendrix is all along the Watchtower and the wrong one got loaded.
Mhm.
Kevo,
Yeah.
you forgive me when I'm a mean bitch about live vocals. Was I a mean bitch here, or is this mean bitch territory?
Only a little bit. I think I was mostly forgiving of this one because it is the first. And I think the concept that they used and the way that they accomplished all of those concepts, I really thought was cute and funny and fun. So I don't know that I can give this one an S. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean with a lot of other people and go for the A. Great cast and really, really fun concept.
Well, we're going to go from an A to an outright D for me. When I like say that I genuinely hate Glamazonian Airways as like a piece of music, I feel like I'm underselling it. This is not a Rusical. This is a couple of songs in a row, and it's not even like whole songs. This is my first no, and it's like I hate the songs is actually part of the problem. Like, I can live with the rest of, like, you know, this is the first one that's pre-recorded vocals. By the way, I just want to say, Shade the Musical, 7 minutes long. Glamazonian Airways, 6 minutes long. Pre-recorded vocals by studio musicians. And unless it is clearly the Queen singing it live, recording it in the studio in an episode, they are not the ones singing. We were able to find the inside sheet of the drag bills with the actual people singing for a couple of these. So some of the ones like 15 where they're trying to make it sound really close, it's not actually them at all. I genuinely hate this. This is like a D, and it's not any performer's fault. It's not even the songwriting's fault, but this is a cute YouTube video. This is not in any way a Rusical of any sort. I would have rather watched Candy Muse eat a Kit Kat bar.
I do want to say that I'm going to be the worst of all the bitches here today, because sometimes I do blame the girls, and they did not do well this challenge. This was, you know, I think the season 7 girls do not get enough credit for how amazing they are, and when they did try, and when they really were,
they really tried, man.
When they were an impressive cast, I think they got blamed for some very poor producing and some really bad. And this is a good example of where everybody did not do great. This is not, you're right, these are not good songs. This is not a good production. And it's unfortunate because it's a funny concept. The looks are cute. Like, they have some fun with the idea. I think I'm probably giving it a C because I do see some fun here, and like I see people trying to perform, but like Katya doesn't know any of her words as Valerie Valentine at the start. A bunch of people don't know their words at all. The second group, it's just they have no chemistry together.
Sasha Bell with the
Violet doesn't even understand how to find the camera here, and if there's something that Violet Chachki can always do, it is make the camera find her.
Well, and I think part of that is because it's a look she didn't like.
And she was physically trying to molt it off of her while on stage.
So anyway, I mean, like, I think I there's a little bit of fun in this one that for me makes it a C, but it is not great, and I do think it is everybody's fault that that's the case.
You go ahead,
Tori. No, please, you go first.
I gave it a B because I like this one, but I recognize it's bad. I love this one. I think it's great performance art. I love the spoken word. I could do spoken word drag queens all night long. It's a fave. They all look so cute. They all do their little prancies. I love the screaming. I'm in for all of it. But it's bad. It is not good.
Okay, as long as we're clear that this is bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's bad, but it gets a B because I love it.
This is Lynn's West Side Story bad.
No, we're not at the Kardashians yet.
Ah!
Okay, I'm going to stick by my convictions. I have trash taste, and I give this an S. I love this so much.
Thank you.
And I am also biased.
Trans.
Season 7 was the first season I watched live, so I have bias in this. This is, my ranking maybe shouldn't count. I have a weighted average. I do agree. There's too much going on. I think part of the problem is this is during the time when the show was 40 minutes long, so the performance. I think if you stretch this out and you maybe condensed what they were trying to go for, it works. I think they were just trying to do a little too much. That being said, I do love I love the theme. I love the concept. Glamazonian Airways. It's really bad. It's kind of like how people love Xanadu, or like people like Michelle's favorite movie is Showgirl.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Or Starlight Express. Yeah.
We can love bad things.
In the
You're
sky.
I do not think this is the most successful musical, even just from music alone, not the most successful. Performance-wise, not the best. But I think there were some people who were standouts. There are people that I did enjoy, and I'm biased, so I'm giving it an S. And I have trash taste.
You know what this reminds me of? What Jonah, your generation would think of as Vine compilations.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's so slapstick with the different audio tracks spliced in. It's very frenetic. It's very frantic. And, it's fun. And I enjoy the stuff like that. There's a man on the wing of the plane. It gets stuck in my head. Like, sure. But it's also maybe a little bit too chaotic at times. It goes a little bit too fast from one thing to the other without letting
right,
stuff
Kevin.
land.
Yeah. It's like those anime videos that there used to be where they used to sync that stuff up too.
And Ru loves random stuff like that, so I get it. But
there's also some interjected like weird things in it, like Jasmine Masters' part. That's just because Ru just has really weird humor sometimes. That she just loves really random, like bizarre things. Also, we full circle to today's Rusical, All Stars 9, we had the Scream, which was Ru was also obsessed with the Scream. I feel like they use it in a ton of challenges, and I think one of the first times we saw it, they brought it back for All Stars 9, which I think is hysterical.
yeah.
I can't wait till we talk about the musicals that they just literally redo. So we have a general consensus on this one. I'm going to move us to our third one, which this is the first one where I want to say everything about it works, but it's just not a musical. And it's in part because one of the things
it's not based on one. Yeah.
Well, and like if you start a joke one way, you kind of have to finish the joke that way. And this opens with, this is the teaser. Or this is the trailer for this movie. And then it quickly goes to, this is the main sequence from this movie. And then this is the ending sequence of this movie. And it just tries to move you through all of Pitch Perfect too fast. And this is the first one that is a Rusical that uses Ru songs that I want to say, at least this one, it makes sense. Pitch Perfect is a jukebox musical. So a musical parody of Pitch Perfect should be a jukebox musical. I love some of these versions. This is a 6-minute show. It's got some pretty good studio musicians doing the tracks. I give this one an A. I think this one, the arrangements are great. It's fun. The performances are kind of clunky. And I don't love how it all comes together, but I genuinely think the arrangements really showcase why Ru's music is dexterous and capable.
I am having so much fun with this because we have such a diversity of opinions.
And
This is a
wrong.
D for me.
Yours is wrong!
This is a D for me. This is
Wrong!
so unenjoyable all the way through. Again, the girls have some trouble with this one. It's not the same kind of trouble that the season 7 girls have, but they do. This would almost get a C for Chi Chi DeVane.
No, you don't get to give this a C now. You don't get to try and kind this song up.
Chi Chi alone lofts this up, but don't like the arrangements. Lots of people don't really know their words. The groups don't have chemistry. Nobody really wants to be there. The songs, nothing about this. I did not enjoy this for a single second. The only thing I enjoyed was Chi Chi. Even Bob, just isn't bobbing it for this.
Bob, who looked crazy.
Yeah, Bob looked crazy. But Bob isn't doing Bob for. I don't know. This is Boy, oh boy, no thank you. Yeah, this is a D.
Move on to somebody with a better opinion. Tori, have a better opinion.
I gave this a B because I
Excellent.
watched it and said, "Oh my god, it's so much better than I remember." I didn't remember a bunch of them being any good, and then also some of them.
I thought you were about to say it's so much better than actual Pitch Perfect for a second.
No, I would never say that. About this. I spent a lot of time. I spent time being like, Kimchi's not doing that bad. Bob is doing something, and I liked it a lot. But it was a terrible premise, and honestly, I don't think it was choreographed well.
I have to agree with you on that. I give it a C, and mostly because I think it failed at inception. I actually don't blame the girls too much for this, but they're doing a parody of Pitch Perfect. But the whole point of Pitch Perfect is they're singing a cappella. This is all pre-recorded. You can't really do that.
Now you're going to ding them on technicalities?
Yes, because I am nothing if not inconsistent.
How many Chaos Gremlins to run a YouTube channel?
I do like actually some of these versions. Like Nico said, I do like some of the covers. I think they work. I think the Bad Girl School worked a lot better than the Good Girl School. Like them starting with Lake, Titty. I was doing the whole dance while they were doing it. But for me, this fails at it just fails because you can't do pre-recorded lip syncing to Pitch Perfect. That doesn't make sense to me.
My little weirdo.
And I get what you're saying. You know, Kevo, as the one of us who is a big fan of the Pitch Perfect effort, how did you feel about this one?
You know, I don't feel poorly about it, but I think I'm probably gonna have to give it like a C because it didn't make a huge impression on me. I remember, we watched all of these as refreshers, but it's not one that I am like, I'm going to go back and listen to that one because I was excited by it. I might go back and listen to it because I don't really remember it that well, and I listened to it this afternoon. It was good, and I agree on enjoying the premise of using Ru's music for this or for Moulin Rouge later. I like that because those are jukebox musicals. But yeah, I don't know that this accomplished it as well as the one we will get to later does. So I think I'm going to go with C. C for the B.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it's really exciting that we're already at our first All Stars. We are already at voting for our first All-Star group because one of the things that an All-Stars offers us is a little bit something different. The first one was 7 minutes, then we had 2 6 in a row. The first one had live vocals, then we had 2 studio musicians in a row. And while this All-Stars Herstory of the World is still 6 minutes, pre-recorded by studio musicians, this is the first one where I feel like people are playing individual characters and not all being kind of versions of girls and they're individual women. And that's something that's really exciting for me. I do think that there's stuff that's fun, like Alaska as Eve is fun. Helen of Troy doesn't work at all. It's just obnoxious. And like, for me, like sometimes people just going, like literally is the same thing. Like when people treat rock music that way, especially queer culture, I just want to be like, yeah. And that's why people say that, oh, fuck, it's just not like this. Because like you're literally taking you're just taking an entire version of art and saying that because you don't get it, it's fine to mock. It didn't have any personality, and they would want better for drag from another parody than they do for rock music on this show ever. But other than that, I think my biggest complaint here is that down to that I did it better than Madonna. Obviously, that was not written for Ava Perón. That was written for Patti LuPone, and it was repurposed. But it's literally about I performed Evita better than Madonna, and Perón rhymes with LuPone, and it is so clear to me that it makes no sense for Ava Perón to say, and I did this better than Madonna. So it's just one of those things where like sometimes you can hear where these are like they're doing the best with kind of whatever writing situation they've got. They're just kind of working that drawer really good. But you could convince me that this A is an S or this A is a B, but I think it's an A for me.
I agree. I'm in the A camp. I love this. I think it's really fun. My favorite part about this is how Thorgy did a great job, and they told her she did terrible.
She did such a fucking good job. It's like
Thorgy isn't in this one. That's next All Stars.
Oh, that is next All Stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? But that's fair because I famously razz Thorgy, and now that I've seen Thorgy live and I've seen her conduct, I've seen her dance, I've seen her tell jokes, I've seen her play violin. I've had the opportunity to see the artist that is Thorgy. I am a big Thorgy fan now. I still love
Thorgy.
I still think she behaves gross on the show at times, but I bet I would behave grosser. So, Mom,
that's just her crazy.
She's just competitive.
Oh, Thorgy's not in this.
Gross.
Yeah, even though I said the Thorgy thing, I do still know this one, and I do love it. This is an A for me. I will always love Katya so much, and I mean, you know, I think I thought Horsing Around was great. You know, I also really love how they use the girls as backup dancers.
It's one of the best uses of that by far.
Yeah, this and the one from All Stars 3 are the two where it really works the best for me. I have a lot of fun with it. I don't know. This is also just a great season. So seeing everybody. Oh, and it's Alyssa Edwards, and she's so good anyway.
No, she is. This is the first time I said to myself, you can no longer lip sync because your filler is all over the place.
No, she's so good. Her dancing is so good, but then also this gives us the iconic her in the wig and the work.
You make me feel like a dangerous woman.
And that's enough to boost this. Yeah, this is definitely an A. Okay.
This is a B for me because honestly, I was more impressed, but I didn't think Katya did that bad on this. I think she was screwed over by the fact that we really know who Diana is, as opposed to the rest of them. But I didn't find the writing to be that good, and knowing what these girls can do on their finale song, I was like, this is fine.
I give this one an A. I really like. I do agree. I think some of the wording and some of the lyrics probably could have been punched up and done a little bit better. I don't think Princess Diana was the best choice, and even then, I actually think Princess Diana has the weakest verse. That's not any performer's fault. I think it'd be really hard to make that work. Outside of that, I also really love the full extended edition, which includes the three people who, because at this point, Adore, Tatiana, and Coco Montrese were out. They were supposed to play Frida Kahlo, Joan of Arc, and Cleopatra, respectively, and those parts are actually also really good. It makes me wish that they started with this one as the first challenge, because it would have been really fun seeing everybody.
It's interesting seeing how the shortest Rusicals are often the Rusicals with the most girls.
But ultimately, I give this an A. I really enjoy it. I think the performance is pretty great. This was a performance where really nobody did bad, and they were kind of splitting hairs to put people on the bottom. So, I give this an A.
Kevo, do you have any real herstory feelings?
I think I'm probably going to lean a little further back on Tori's side and also go with a B, especially because we all for a second forgot this wasn't Divas Live and we're complimenting Thorgy, so that can't speak very well for it. You know, it was good, it was fun, but you know, like you said, you know, I was trying to say earlier, you love screaming even. So if Helen of Troy didn't really work for you, that really says something about it too.
Yeah. The next one, I feel really bad. I don't know why I don't like this one. I don't like
subject matter.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's weird because my dream in life is to write an opera about the late night wars. You know, Letterman, Leno, and Rivers, and all vying for Carson's love and affection, and that is my literal dream project in life. And so I think the best operas and the best musicals can take something so insidiously mundane that like it's literally so boring you hate it, and make it something so beautiful. And I can't think of anything I think of that I think is so boring that I hate it more than the Kardashians. And I want to love this, but my God, there is like, I don't know, down to Cynthia pisses me off the way her mouth never seems like it's even. It's just all over the like. There is something about this one that I'm going to give it a C because I want to give it an A because I love 9. 9 is like one of my top 3 seasons. I think 9 is unimpeachable. It has 3 of my favorite Drag Race moments of all time, and I love 9. But this is just also only use Hamilton if you're either a dumbass or good at it. And this is an intelligent writer using Hamilton poorly. So I wish I liked this one more. Man, I have a lot of feelings about season 9. I still want to marry you, Valentina. Love me.
I'm going to keep it real short. I also give it a C. I really think the top 3 for this challenge, Shay, Peppermint, and Alexis were the only people who really stood out the best.
Black China!
Everyone else, unfortunately, either fades into the background or their performance wasn't the best. I don't care for the subject matter. I don't think the songs were that good. And this is, again, none of these queens' fault. They had to do what they had to do, and I think for the most part, everybody did the best they could.
It's always Eureka's fault.
But this musical is just not for me, so say.
Yeah, this was my first D. Gave it a solid D. Forgot who half of those people were, and it was just not good. Like, there were no good parts in it, really, at the end of the day. Some people just did well with shit.
I gave it a B for specifically the reasons that Jonah mentioned. The top 3 were actually really fantastic. And it's unfortunate because Peppermint is really good as Britney Spears, especially embodying the character, especially like as a black woman being white Britney Spears, like a large black woman being tiny little Britney Spears. Like she does it perfectly. But then the rest of the song where it's Paris and Lindsay Lohan is a little weird, especially because the Britney part is so good. But Momager and Black China are just like 2 standout numbers from the entirety of Rusicals. And also the should have been Black China moment it gets us a little boost as well.
Nina's singular tear on the runway.
Nina Bonina Brown, my love. What?
I have to ask you a really serious question.
What?
As we all know, Alexis Michelle is featured as the momager.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And
I know where you're going with this. I can't wait.
The name of this one is Reality Stars. And of course, everybody knows that the most famous work by Alexis Michelle's cousin is Reality Bites. So I guess my question for you is, how does Momager compare to Stay, I Missed You by Lisa Loeb?
Tori just came up today.
I was really hoping you were going to go with a Gossip Girl reference, but I like where you did go with it. Audience, you should know that we will never stop being tickled by the fact that Alexis Michelle is Lisa Loeb's cousin. That will come up whenever Alexis Michelle comes up. We never won't talk. Tori, welcome to the fan club. We are fans of just this fact, not either person.
I spent the whole time being like, wow, they did this Rusical really early for Calorie Kardashian Williams to be the mom. Yes, good for her.
Oh, what a name!
But yeah, this is a B to me because I do think it is. I don't think any parts of it are bad. I don't think a lot of it is good, and then I think the parts that are good are like are iconic moments for Drag Race as a whole franchise. So for me, that kind of averages out to a B.
Kevo, how are you Kardashianating?
Wrong way, sorry. I think this might be my first D. Specifically because...
Yo, this is wild. I'm loving it.
We eliminated the F. So I'm specifically not giving it an F. I said I don't want F on this board because I'm not going to give something an F. but that's still that doesn't make D and F. It's still a D. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's more the content. There's another one on this list that I'm probably also going to give a D because of the content. It might get a C from me. I haven't decided, but this one, I don't know. It doesn't have really a ton of saving graces for me. I don't really love reality star stuff. Like, I love when we cover Traitors because I love seeing these people fight to the death. So I don't necessarily love reality stuff. I love competitions, and that's what I love about Drag Race. That's what I love about Project Runway. But stuff that's just the Kardashians just walking around being like, oh, how are you? I'm really good. Not really my cup. So I think this I'll probably give a D.
Nico, is your future bright?
No, I'm just so glad this got a D that I decided to celebrate like a cool guy.
And good, you're not getting a ton of reflection from the screens, which is nice.
So, you know, I agree with TK. You know, when we all give the same stuff, the same answers, it's terrible. The last time there were this many wrong answers, it was a month before Christmas, and by the end, I couldn't form a sentence. Really thrilled.
We're gonna do that again.
Bless
I
next
can't wait to see
Christmas.
how it goes.
Oh my God.
Times 3.
Halloween and Thanksgiving songs only. This next one is one that's interesting to me because I think All Stars 3 Episode 2 Divas Live Lip Sync, which once again, you know, I just want to put out there that the last one, 6 minutes pre-recorded vocals by studio musicians. This one, 8 minutes pre-recorded vocals by studio musicians, Ru songs. One of the things that stuck out to me this one is that number one, this was the Celine impression we left out of our Celine episode, which, by the way, thank you to all of our new listeners. Thank you so much to all of our new fans. We think you're so great. Just like Tori, we vomit with joy when we hear about new listeners. So,
I'm
I'm totally with you. I think that the big thing for me on this one is just because you can put a song in a genre doesn't mean you should in some cases. Some cases it works out really well, like Adrenaline. But other cases, what you did was you took the lyrics to You Wear It Well and you wrote an entirely new melody. And you put entirely new chords to it with an entirely new chord progression. And other than the lyrics, and we will go with the basic pentameter. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. There is no way in which some of these songs are these songs they are based on. To the point where...
But isn't that the whole point, Nico?
No, I'm like, well, but then if there's literally no way they're the songs that they're based on. Like, I'm literally saying, like, it is taking the lyrics from one song and writing an entirely new piece of music and saying, no, it's the same. I'm Real the Remix by J-Lo is not the same song as I'm Real by J-Lo. Just because you're calling it the same thing and you're using a couple of the same lyrics that aren't even original lyrics that I could find in 30 other songs, putting it to a completely new melody by a completely new artist's style at a completely different tempo with completely different chords. Some of these are so barely even the original song, they should count as originals.
It's Ship of Theseus.
But isn't
Yes.
the whole point that they're doing them in the style of the diva?
But you just said they're doing them in the style of the diva. There's no the song in place. It's just some lyrics. And that'd be like taking an entirely different person, calling him TK and saying, but look, I made a TK. I'm calling him the same thing, so it must be the same person. They are literally only the lyrics in common. And so, like, if you were to put them together, they would not be the same copyright. That is how different some of these are. They would not be covered under the same copyright because there is no melody, chords, or any of the parts that can be copyrighted. Because the only thing you can't copyright is a beat. And the only part they have in common for some of these are the lyrics and the beat.
Yeah, I just don't know that bothers me.
Oh, it doesn't bother me. It's just that they're not Ru songs. These are just like the person who wrote these should have gotten credit for creating original songs.
Oh, I mean, that's a whole... there's a whole discussion to be had about how these people deserve credit.
That's the discussion I'm trying to have!
Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure
Okay, well,
here we're ranking the
avenue we
Rusicals.
took there.
I
was a
think
little-
the ethics of the crediting of RuPaul's music, that's a whole other show. But I would do it. I would love to do it.
Sure, we could go.
I have a lot of thoughts. But this is an A for me. I just have so much fun with this.
Yeah, it's an
I
A.
mean,
It's just they're not the same songs.
I hear what you're saying. I gotta absorb it. I was not prepared for it, but I
You were not ready for,
hear
as
it.
Kevo said, Song of Theseus.
Thank you. I love Trixie as Dolly Parton. Poor Kennedy. I love Kennedy so much. This one's really fun. I love it so much. Like I said, I do think that Thorgy did so fantastic. I can't believe she was even close to the bottom. I think it is so funny but I also thought it was really funny that she was like, when you go to like a Stevie Nicks show, you don't see gay men in the front row being like, yes, Stevie, work. What the fuck?
She's
Yes,
right.
you do.
They're all in the
You
bathroom doing
absolutely
coke,
see that.
wearing shawls that they purchased at auction. So my mom tells this story.
You see
She
people
saw-
like Thorgy.
My
Yeah,
mom
it's
saw
all
Stevie
lesbians.
Nicks at Radio City Music Hall, and she's in the bathroom, and it's an army of lesbians all wearing Stevie Nicks' shawls, and they're like, "I got this one at this benefit where I bid $3,000 on it." And the only reason my mother doesn't have a matching version of guys covered in white powder in the bathroom telling the exact same story is because she wasn't in the men's room.
Yeah, I am that gay in the front row screaming, yes, you better work, Stevie. So, Thorgy,
that
that was
gay in
not
the men's
correct. But they did set you up for failure. They did gaslight you. And I'm very...
Why is that funny?
Todrick
because-
forgot her.
Yes.
Todrick forgot her.
Yes. Yeah, anyway, I love this one. This is definitely an A.
See, for me, whereas I watched Bitch Perfect and went, wow, Thorgy's really good in this. I watched Divas remembering that when I had originally watched it, I was like, she did fine. The judges trashed it. I went, it wasn't that bad. And then I watched it this time and I went, it was that bad. But I think she was set up for failure. That wasn't her problem. That was a situation problem. And she did
Conspiracy.
the best that she possibly could. But it was not a good role, period, for anyone to ever have. I did not like Trixie's Dolly Parton. I felt it was written. I liked her doing it. I did not like what they gave her to do. I found it to be very one note, and that note was piercing.
And that note was 1984 Dolly Parton, which any Dolly fan understands is like such a limited view of her character.
Right. And so this was one of those where I really felt like a lot of them got set up for failure by various things. And so it's a C for me. Also because none of these songs are good.
Adrenaline is literally flawless. And
Yeah,
so I
that
will have
one's
to
that
talk
one's
to you
all
after the
right.
show.
That one's all right. But like
I love the singer who does the Janet charisma. You need to sort of 5, 4, 3, 2,
Listen,
1. Come on, Rue. It's good.
No, that is such a specific, like, it's this thing that I've talked about with you that, like, I have such a specific feeling on it. It's such a rare queen who, if like, you can imitate Cher talking, you can imitate Cher singing. If you can imitate Madonna talking, you can imitate Madonna singing. But people who can do Janet and Mariah talking and singing are such a rare breed. Getting that Janet voice right, that is such a perfect example of her soft range, like When I Think of You, or like a lot of her like more talky stuff, like All For You. I guess it's the For You songs. But Jonah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because like we should be having whole episodes about the quality of Janet impersonators. At my job, I am so known for what I'm known for. Somebody today at work said to me, Nico, you either need to get us a Dolly Parton drag impersonator or we're going to go to Cameo. That is also, somebody at work said to me, somebody said that gay people like Chapel Roan. Should I listen to her? You'd know.
The answer to that is always yes.
That was literally in the middle of a meeting with a vice president at work today. So,
And if I say that she's mother, what does that mean?
It's okay. I had to
mean,
chase
she's
down
kidding.
my entire PR department, who are all under the age of 28, and tell them who Trixie Mattel was. So that was fun.
well, then I guess they don't know what number ones are.
Nope.
All right, who has to still vote on Divas? Which, by the way, as the guy who sat there watching every VH1 Divas live, let me just tell you, this is pretty accurate.
Oh, they do change the songs for the artists?
Historically, you do at least 1 or 2 songs that are a tribute to somebody else on the stage that night.
Okay.
And you do them in your style.
I give this an A. I think for the most part, everyone does pretty well. Nobody does bad. I don't give it an S because this is as opposed to Baddest Bitches in History, where most of the parts are all equal. This is one where the parts are not equal. They're equal.
Oh my god, you just rhymed equal with equal, you idiot!
we're not on Queen of Flips right now. The Julie Andrews one I do love it, but I don't know if it's. I think that one does require the most amount of work. I do think the Mariah Carey one was a little bit of a softball for whoever did happen to get that role would have been in the top.
Wait, are you saying that Shangela took advantage of a situation?
Regarding all of that, Morgan was supposed to play Lana Del Rey, but I also think about how at Roscoe's Morgan talked about how she could do a really good Patti LuPone, and you just hear Detox cackling in the background.
No, can I just, on that topic, Detox, it sucks that they didn't, when you think about a person just showing up in what they would actually wear on a normal day, I just never expected it would be Detox. She literally showed up in herstory in something she would wear to the grocery store.
You're not wrong.
That's her brunch number. Never mind. Regardless of all that, I actually like a lot of the vocals. I think
yes,
a lot of the vocals are really good. I hear what you're saying, Nico, about the songs themselves maybe not being what the title says that they're supposed to be. But I do, for the most part, really enjoy it. So I give it an A.
Who's left to give a diva vote?
Me. I'm probably also going to give it an A. First of all, hey, Timescales, thanks for joining us. Dolly Parton rocks, yes. This was really interesting take on a lot of the music and stuff. I enjoyed it. This is one that I definitely think, like I was saying before, that I would go back and listen to for fun. So I'm going to go with A.
Well, from one that I think we can all pretty much agree on the general quality of, one of the things that winds up happening as we get a little bit further into these Rusicals is we hit some where I'm not sure that we all come into these for the same thing. I hate this. I genuinely hate this. This is, for me, kind of unquestionably, I want to get the exact amount of time, 7 minutes and 30 seconds of awful that I think every one of these queens performs perfectly. I think this is an example of where the art is bad and the performance is matchingly bad. This is a situation where no one was challenged to be better. I don't even know. I think this is the first one where just because you sing it doesn't make it good. Just because you put every genre in something doesn't make it good. But I guess my question for the four of you is there an anal option?
Always. I have to give this a C.
Same.
Part of that is, and this is no shade, these are all talented, amazing people. Asia's team was really bad.
Literally had no practice time.
A lot of their performances were really bad, and you look at the Vixens team, and it's like, oh, this is probably what it could have been. And if both teams were the same caliber in terms of performance, I probably could have bumped this up to a B. This is just not for me. It's really weird. There's also the fun fact: season 10 has 2 Rusicals. Don't know why. It's just hysterical. They have 2. This is just not for me. I do find it funny. Because we do have the resident queen to insert medical and pills into her numbers of cracker in this, which I think is funny. But outside of that, this is not a musical for me.
Cracker's great in this. Cracker's great in everything. Her performance style is quite literally say the dumbest thing to make you laugh, and that's just kind of fine.
Sure, I'm gonna miss that dope.
when she says in the next one, when she says, "So I turned into a robot alien from outer space." It's like it's the highlight of my week.
I also ended up giving this a C. I know in the group chat I hyped it up a little bit. It actually is unwatchable. It's very unenjoyable. I do really love Aquaria. I really actually like the concept. Like I like Farmer Rusical again, like branding. Sometimes if you can pitch something in one word, I can at least be like, I see where you're going with this. And so I really like the one word pitch. And I even like what the concepts are for some of the drugs and what you would do, but then what is written for the actual practical like lyrics and dance is not really fun. Nobody is able to acquit themselves very well with it. I actually I think Cracker's group has better chemistry and works better together, but they're not really actually much better. It just feels like there was just nobody. I mean, like Yua is just a mess in the first group. Yeah, I mean, this is not a great one, but I give props to Aquaria, Cracker, and like just again, even the concept. I'm like, okay, I could really be into this. If they redid it, I would be so down to see it reformed.
Calo, would you go back one image really quickly?
Yeah.
I will literally Venmo $50 after taxes to anyone who will explain to me why Monet is dressed like a blitzball player. That is
Monet having the best promo outfit.
Get the fuck out of here! I'm not gonna have this
great.
conversation. She looks like an insane Knicks.
No, this is perfection.
She looks amazing.
I love this.
She looks like she is going to join the cast of Yo Gabba Gabba. I cannot have this conversation with you.
She looks like behind her back is the bat that they're going to use to beat the Calorie Kardashian pinata that's on the other side of the stage.
Okay, now that is the actual dream.
No, that's just Ms. Cracker. She's very tall and slim.
And that hurt.
That's actually very tiny.
I gave this a D because not only is it bad, it forced me to leave the YouTube playlist of Rusicals I found because it was not included.
It's that bad.
It's that bad.
Yeah, Drag Race does not have this officially uploaded.
Yeah, I had to find one with weird subtitles, terrible like definition. It was awful.
I mean, yeah, that's why we needed to have a second Rusical this season, because this isn't a real one. It is, but it's not. So it's fun and it's cute and it gives us some interesting lines. I had forgotten where Is There an Anal Option came from, so when it came up I was like, oh, from Charades. So
it's just super weird that they got that off of my Tinder profile. The Is There an Anal Option?
You mean
I understood.
Oh God! So they booed me. Okay.
The crowd went tepid.
I am seconds from climbing back into my closet for about 2 seconds, except for the unbelievable. I can't wait to show it to you guys. I have a beautiful rack of guitars that Hot Older Boyfriend put up on my wall. All of my beautiful guitars are hanging. I'm so grateful. It looks so amazing. In that closet that is currently blocked by my Ibanez bass in cobalt blue.
Oh God.
Are all of my Cher Barbies.
Oh God.
Oh, there's multiple.
Uh-huh.
There's.
Oh.
I literally, Tori
How
Sheehan,
many?
There's
Can
5.
you pull one out for each of these numbers?
No, but
No,
I will
not
say
today.
that turn back time is always readily available, except for the fact that we just redid this room. But she's going to be up. Turn back time is going to be up on the wall. And maybe the Bob Mackey. Because I have the Bob Mackey, the turn back time, Cherokee, Half-Breed. I have Gypsy's Chance and Thieves. I have Cher Hour. So I have 6. I have 6 Cher Barbies. I would say that in terms of people who inspired me to be the happiest I can be, Cher is up there with Dolly. There's no way I could not give this an S. I don't love every moment of it. I think some of the performances are kind of weak, but like the first Christmas that I remember feeling like Santa loved me with all his heart was the year that I opened 6 Cher albums. And I I have her entire discography. Black Rose on vinyl is the prize of my Cher collection. I just can't have a bad feeling about this. I wish that I do wish that Chad was here, because Chad would make this even better. But it's hard not to get emotional about my first diva sometimes. And I even want to say I was shocked how good Cameron was. There isn't a bad moment in this for me.
Chad, I was at Cher. Chad does make a slight cameo where Chad as Cher in Snatch Game
Yes!
is her sort of profile picture, which is hysterical. I don't have too much more to say other than I give this an S. I love this. I love this song. Cher, I'm gonna miss that dope. The fact that I thought Cameron, Monet, Cracker, even like Aquaria, I thought did pretty well. I thought like this was a pretty solid challenge, and for them to go back to live singing again was like kind of like, but I think it worked the best here comparative to Shade the Rusical.
I love that, and I really love that you remember to bring up that they sing live. You know, one of the things that made this such a unique Rusical was that it was 7 minutes and 30 seconds of live singing. TK, you are somebody who connects with the artistry of a person. You will forgive an off note if it's filled with passion, and you'll forgive maybe a slightly passionless performance if it's executed with finesse and perfect agility. How do you feel about a performance like this that maybe doesn't have either perfection, but has a lot of good intent?
It's a B for me. I mean, like, there are parts that are great. Cracker is great, although, man, it was painful watching her get there. That is some real conflict of the episode that they're lucky they had. Cracker's great. Monet is great. I give Cameron a ton of credit for being for being super brave. You know, also, she seemed very much to be stumbling as they were going through it. And she came in, she did a very solid Cher impression. She had to open the show. Nothing to sneeze at. Vixen, Asia, Eureka, really not great. Aquaria, not great. It's not, for me, very fun to watch.
I don't know. Aquaria, I have absolutely no expectation of her vocal performance because that's not who I think of her as. So I don't know. I think I grade Aquaria. First of all, I think she's one of the most beautiful people in the world. But like, I think I graded her a little too kindly because of my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like as I said, like Bianca can't sing, but I really enjoyed her in her Rusical. So like, it can work. I don't think, you know, it's kind of she fell into poor Mirage's trap. She's too young. She wasn't a Cher girl. I don't think she had the references. I don't think she had the passion. And so if you combine that with like maybe singing's not your thing, it's not going to come together and be anything like super. And Eureka clearly knew Cher, but is also really didn't give me Cher person. I don't know. There are some great parts about this one, but there's a lot that I'm just like, it's fine.
Well, Tori, I want to ask you. I know that you know, I know from the things you enjoy. I can't quite get there, but I was trying to make a USA joke about Eureka and then get to White Collar and the other TBS USA shows you liked. Because
USA.
Olympics. You are the queen of intelligently designed fandom. And I think that season 10 was about capturing a modern Tumblr audience for a show that sort of existed even on the fringe of the fringe. How do you feel as a person I know who, I hope it's okay to say, but has worked on shows that are tributes to divas equal to Cher? And, you know, I've always been so proud of your work on a certain touring show. And I would love to know how you felt about this Cher performance as a comparison. Oh my God. Tori, did I send you the photos that it was the All for Joe anniversary like 3 weeks ago?
Oh no, I have those memories come up in my head every time, and it's if one of you could put that soundtrack into a Dropbox for me somewhere, I'd appreciate it because mine's gone.
Love you.
I gave Cher a B because it was good, not great, but I will say that this was based on the fact that you could tell that the performers were a little about singing live. You could tell that a bunch of them were like, I don't do Cher. Why would I? Oh God, why do I have to do Cher specifically?
Yeah.
And I do think that is, I would be interested to learn if that there is a certain amount of feeling in the drag industry of like, if you don't do the big ones on the regular, you just don't bother kind of doing them. You like pick something else. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like these girls were like, I know I'm bad at Cher, so I don't do her. So
which is,
now
I think that's where we graded Cameron so positively. It's like when Kristen Chenoweth breaks out the most average Dolly Parton impression in the entire world, you're like, eh. But when she sings Ann Wilson like a fucking demon, you're like, yeah.
Yeah. I was under the impression that Cameron was hiding some capabilities on Cher, some Cher capabilities under a hat. And
Cher like.
I sort of feel like Cameron's entire performance on Drag Race is a series of illusions designed to make us like her, even though it's kind of impossible.
I mean, she could have just been good.
Oh, you say things, and then I'm like, that's a mean gay man right there. Speaking of mean gay men, Jonah, listen, I want to know, what do you think?
As sweet as Jeffrey Chapman the other day.
Okay. That's fair.
Do you see her, or are you anti-Cher?
No, I give it an S.
Oh, did you already go? Oh God, we've been at this for so long. Kevo, did you go?
I think I'm gonna go with C for Cher. Because I really love Tori's point of some of these girls are, oh, did I have to do this? But they all did an admirable job. And I'm usually the sweetheart, so I'm going hard tonight.
Woof.
I just want to say that part of it is I expect us to go in order, even though I never pivot in order. I never just go to TK. I always go to somebody. So that's why I was like, oh, Jonah hasn't gone yet. I don't have anything to say. I remember being like 10 years old and somebody saying to me, you know, describe a bad person. And I would literally just say Donald Trump. Like people used to literally be like, oh my God, you must hate that he's got that Apprentice show because you hate him so much. I have nothing to say. This isn't even good parody art. This doesn't understand what it's trying to be. And making fat phobic jokes about Sarah Huckabee Sanders doesn't. This is why when MXPX released Idiot Son of an Asshole, I had nothing to say. This isn't good art. This is a D. I'm sorry.
Fully agree. Total D. Really boring. Not fun to watch. Nobody was great. I have basically nothing good to say about this.
Ginger Minge was incredible.
Yeah, Ginger Minge was really good.
I found Nina enjoyable, but also just for the sheer fact of so excited to see how much she has grown, because I used to think she was great and I thought she was always great, and then I rewatched this and I was like, oh, she's good. So now she's great. I love Brooklyn again. It was looking very beautiful. And so that's the only thing that pulls it up to a C for me. Otherwise, this was just really, really bad. And it felt like the girls didn't want to go in because they didn't want to get too associated with something they didn't like.
Truly.
Mm-hmm.
This is a D. This is poorly written. Doesn't make sense. This is a really bad failure at a Grease parody. Like, it's really weird that they wanted to do Grease, but they couldn't get the rights to Grease, so they did this instead. I'm not judging the entirety of it, but there's also a really bad episode that they do. Like, they cut the choreo for basically everybody because they make it too difficult that only a few people can actually do it. They have the storyline where Ariel's like crying because she can be Shandy. Shandy's in the beginning 2 minutes and then the last 4 minutes. The entire other 8 minutes of this performance, she's not in it. This is just not good.
She's the worst person on the planet, so that's not.
No. The worst person on the planet is me for once again on this show flipping MXPX and NoFX because I went to the Warped Tour and smoked way too much during formative years, and also took an incredible Charlotte Martin number of Stromata pills.
I promise you, no one but me noticed.
Well, you know what? It was you and also Matt Miner, my editor over on Young Men in Love, who is the queerest punk you've ever met, who would absolutely skin me alive.
Sure.
We'll work on that.
Tori,
No.
did you like this?
Don't work on the skinning me. Don't work on it, Tori.
No, I said it was a C.
You said-
I said some nice things about the girls and gave it a C and then wanted to move on.
Did you guys see where Timescale said that I could never smoke too much? He gave me permission, and he's a doctor. So,
Yeah.
did anybody not yet say that Trump the Musical is horrible?
I waffled between C and D because I saw parts of what it was trying to do and I appreciated elements of it. But I think at the end of the day, much like Kardashian, I think it is about something that I just don't enjoy making light of. I appreciated at least that it was during the administration because I thought it was one of those things like the Jimmy Fallon head rub that was before it. And those things are always really annoying in retrospect now. So you can even see where it was almost like they thought they were making protest art. But no, it really doesn't work. And the general rankings from everyone else seems to agree. And this seems to be a D. So onward and upward.
I do want to say
Onward.
No, upward. I do want to say that, like, as a human being, I'm happier because of drag. I don't know. I didn't know how to. The first time I sang in front of my husband was the scariest experience of my life because I knew that I wanted to be with him forever, and I wanted him to love my voice. And he kind of like took my hand and was like, "You make weird sounds, but they make you really happy, and they're beautiful. They're just
It
not
was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, yeah. He was like, he was literally like, you are a beautiful vocalist, but
Yeah.
you don't sing like other people expect you might.
It's
And-
true.
I said to I was having a meeting with a person who has like a publicist at work the other day, and I turned to my mentor at work, who is the most fabulous, incredible, breathtaking lesbian you've ever met in your entire life, and I said, what do I do? How do I impress this person? And she said, try to find a middle ground between what you look like and what you sound like. And I've never heard anything that was a more accurate description of me. So anyway, there are a few memories in my entire life that define me. Like, I invited my cousin Lisa to go see Madonna with me when I was 16 years old, and I had bought the tickets. I had saved up $400 to go see Madonna on the Drowned World Tour at Madison Square Garden, and it was $120 for tickets and $80 for a souvenir, and same for her. And of course, she paid for her own souvenir, and she paid for the train tickets. And it was the first time I ever came out to a family member, and I probably cover more Madonna songs than anybody in the world. And Jan is the drag queen that maybe makes me feel the most seen. And I don't have any bad things to say about Jan and Madonna. I have a lot of bad things to say about this overall performance. This is not the world's all-time greatest 12 minutes, but it is pre-recorded by the Queens. And this might be my favorite all-time Rusical for a trillion special to me reasons, all of which are not technical merit, all of which are not why it's so good. But I will never forget sitting on that train and my cousin Lisa being like, no, you love Madonna. You're
Your cousin
a real
Lisa
gay
Loeb?
boy. Yeah, 1,000%. Loeb.
You gay little thing.
This is, I don't know. And Jan is literally perfect. Seeing Jan this summer is going to go down in history as one of the greatest drag moments of my memory for the rest of my life. I'll have some sort of sad sundowning sort of Grey Gardens disease. And I'll be like, and we just saw Jan yesterday.
Good Lord.
It's a
This is
sad
an ass.
version, but yeah.
This is an S. Everyone kills it. I think for the most part, everyone does amazing. I think, especially because they had to split hairs on people's outfits, put people on the bottom. It's an S. I think everybody did great. within reason. Well, let me say it like that. Within reason, everyone did great. But I really do love this. I love this musical.
This for me is only an A because I like to be stingy with my S's. I think that this is definitely the point where the Rusicals kind of turn a corner and start getting better and better and better. I think they did a really good job. I think the choreography was interesting. I think the through line of the whole thing. I think this is well, no, we did with Cher, but still, I felt like this was better at stringing story to song to story to song better than I think Cher was, too. So,
well, and because I want to agree with you in particular, these are like my two original queens ever. This was before there was Tori, Madonna, and Janet. There was Cher, and I'm sorry, before there was Tori, Mariah, and Janet, there was Cher and Madonna. And I really agree with you that Cher is sort of like a paint by numbers, but Madonna is almost like somebody lived it and was telling the story. I really agree with you about the turning a corner here. There is a vision for a story and a better understanding of how to tie into her catalog by using Vogue as a tie-in piece, and then references to her failures. Who's that girl? Like, you know, when people hear Who's That Girl, they think Eve and Gwen Stefani, but I think, who's that girl? Señorita es bonita. Like,
Nico, I told you what my first Madonna song was, right? The first one that I remember.
Oh my God. I don't remember. My cousin Lisa raised me right, so I don't remember. Anybody who's ever wondered about my hip dysplasia, it's actually my cousin Lisa's fault. I jumped off her lap and broke my legs. So anybody who's ever heard me say that me and Safira both share hip dysplasia, hey girl, what was yours? Because mine was every song ever.
Oh, Beautiful Stranger.
Ah! Okay, that's
yeah, Beautiful Stranger, American Pie. That's when I kicked into Madonna. Before then, I was aware that she was one of those singers that had songs that people liked, but I just figured that she had like 2 or 3 songs and then disappeared.
Can you and I please just like have a religious listening to Ray of Light on air then? Because that whole record is like literally perfection beginning to end.
Can I tell you mine?
Yes. Oh,
yes. Oh my God. Can we just change over to a Madonna podcast? Let's do it.
In elementary school, what grade did we have the talent show? That
fourth grade. Fourth grade.
That's what I thought. My sister's performance with, I want to say, Michelle Katina was to Like a Prayer.
Oh, no.
Okay,
it was very
fourth graders. Oh no!
Yes, it was. They performed it at that nursing home that Beth worked at. Yes, they did.
If I had one iota different situation, I would have been performing Like a Prayer when I did straight to DVD. So, Jonah, I feel like you are slightly under the age of Madonna is Cool. TK, Tori.
He's like Lorda's age.
By a lot, yeah.
We either broke him or he froze. So
no, you broke me! Why did you say that?
Am I wrong?
No!
Thank you.
Oh my God, that's ew, Jesus, gross.
Lourdes is older.
No, I knew it immediately. He's between Lourdes and Rocco. That's awful. That's lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. The barrels are his butt cheeks.
God, Jonah. Her mom. That's crazy.
How do you feel about Madonna? Oh my God, no. And she is quite a runway model. Her walk is insane.
So in light of this, yeah, how do you feel?
How do you feel about Madonna? And then how do you feel about the Madonna unauthorized Rusical? Because you have a lot of queens in this game that I don't necessarily connect with the same way I connect with Jan, but they all do a really admirable and really recognizable performance as themselves in this. Bosco shines.
Bosco's not in this one, sorry.
Wait, no, yeah. Who's in the...
Gigi. You're thinking of Gigi.
Oh my God, yeah. Kevo, do you remember the conversation we had this afternoon where I said, there's 2 queens that Jonah really loves, and neither one are my favorite. I always switch Gigi and Bosco at all times. I always say that they are the blonde and dark-haired version of each other.
We did.
All the time. And I even said, I'm going to get it right on air. I'm just really glad they're white. Jonah, what is your opinion?
I don't have much of an opinion of Madonna. Madonna, I think maybe was just a little far out of my cultural oeuvre growing up, that I don't have really kind of like a special connection with Madonna. I think I do know some people who went to LaGuardia with her daughter. So there's that.
The airport?
No, LaGuardia Performing Arts High School.
Yeah, that same.
Right, Live Forever.
I wanna learn how to fly high.
But not trigonometry, because it's a performing arts high school.
Exactly. But like I said before,
music only has 20 academic credits.
Fair.
I give the Rusical an S. But I give Madonna. I'll give Madonna an A.
Oh, well, you know what? At 845 and mostly made of scary, scary voodoo plastic, she really appreciates that. Who has not Madonna? Oh, TK. Oh, TK.
It's a B. It's fine. Some things about it are great. Jan is fantastic. Really funny that she did not get the win for this.
But she got a kimono out of it, so.
Oh my god.
Gigi's great. It's really funny that you can see Sherry Pie as an Ava Perón Madonna in the background of a bunch of shots. Yeah, but otherwise, I don't know. Like, Jackie's not great. Britta's not great. Heidi's not great. I don't enjoy Crystal Method on this season of Drag Race until the very, 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 very end. So it's just not super enjoyable for me. The songs are actually shockingly good. I want, like, as send ups of Madonna songs, like, I Want to Rule the World is really fun. Yeah, I don't know. It's a B.
I think that's a pretty fair B. And to roll over to one that I don't know is going to get a B from everybody. Yikes. Okay, Social Media the Musical. I'm not going to go first. I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to talk less than someone else. Episode 8, Season 13, Social Media the Musical. Tori, pre-recorded music by studio musicians. I'm sorry, by the Queens at 11 minutes long. How did you feel about this sort of, and that's what it even meant, like break from a lot of the studio musicianship that had been going on for the last couple of seasons in these original musicals?
Like I said, I kind of like when they have to do the vocal stuff, especially if they don't have to write their own lyrics. Like if we're testing on musicality, what are we testing on right here? Is it just choreo? Is it lip syncing? What is it? And so I like it when they sing. I found this one was going to be probably closer to a D, and then I forgot that Rosé shows up and steals the whole thing, and I was like, wow, I was trash talking Rosé 2 weeks ago. Where was this?
Same. Rosé is one of those people who, when she speaks, I kind of hate her to death, but when she sings, I kind of think, oh, Michael Crawford, you should be kicked off Broadway with a giant boot.
So this was a C for me.
Boom.
You know what? It's a B for me. I want to say that something that I find really fascinating is that if you take a bunch of cats and you beat it with Lucille, which is, of course, Negan's baseball bat covered in spikes, you sort of get the sound that Candy Muse is going for. Yet, when Candy Muse sings, it's kind of lovely. It's kind of beautiful. Like,
I love deep, scratchy voices on women above all. Like
Toni Braxton, like Mariah Carey on Baby Doll. Yeah. Candy Muse, every time she sings, I become so excited, whether it's here or her subsequent appearances on this list. I don't think Candy Muse is my queen, but fuck, when Candy Muse sings, she comes alive. This is a B for me. There's a lot that doesn't work here, but the performances that are good are so tight and so strong. It's just there was a point at which they were so consumed with figuring out how to give each one of these girls a public identity that they kind of forgot that the girls themselves provide the identity. They just provide the canvas, and they kind of tried to paint the canvas too much. So I'm really glad that after this, there's a little bit more room for the girls to perform, and they maybe try to pick performers that sound more like the girls when the girls don't sing. Because my one real ding is, as much as I just praised her, Candy Muse's level of vocoder borders on the androidinal.
Mm-hmm.
But was that her choice? No.
No, and that's even what I mean. Like they wrote a song that somebody couldn't sing, and they had to really think about it going forward. And like to find out that nobody did their own vocals on Wig Loose, and to actually get the list of vocal performers like in front of me, they picked people who sounded like those performers, so they wouldn't have to pay them. It's really complicated, but part of what makes me think a little bit deeper about it is that they were trying to craft an opportunity for these women to go on and make money for them. With Wig Loose, where, Lucy LaDuca is one of the top 10 vocalists to ever be on Drag Race. She doesn't sing her own songs. Giving Candy Muse, who is in the bottom 30 vocalists, maybe, just to use a number that isn't necessarily even true. This was trying to create opportunities and avenues of income, because every one of these girls is going to record the track where they sing like this either way. And they just wanted to have the opportunity to have the girls do it here. TK, Jonah, I am but a baby compared to the fact that the two of you have been in this fandom longer than I have. I would really love to know what it was like watching what I think is the transformational season of the show. 13 is the point at which it becomes the modern trajectory. How do you guys feel about social media, the unverified? This is the one where, I'm not losing my mind, this is the one where Heidi does the which was the one where Heidi does the unbelievable shin lift?
Madonna.
Oh, that was Madonna? That is, okay, then I guess it's tough, because Madonna really does have a lot of the elements, but it's Jan and Heidi that set Madonna apart. Everyone in this is on that we've worked with Adam Shankman level. How do you guys feel as like the OGs of our Drag Race crew?
I don't know. This one just bores me. Nobody really stands out to me except Rosé, but maybe by this point I'm a little sick of Rosé when Rosé stands out. I don't. This is kind of, to me, like the Kardashian one, at least. Even though I don't love the subject matter, I understood all the references. And so, like, I thought Momager was funny. I thought Black China was hilarious. Because even though I don't care about that drama, I do know the facts. And I thought that they played into it well. This, like, I know all about social media. I used to work in social media. I don't know. I hate the subject matter. And I don't find anything. Like, I don't expect the writers and producers of Drag Race to have fantastic insights into social media that they can then translate into song, but they also didn't. So, like, you don't get that bonus out of it.
Well, then they should hire any one of you, because
they should hire anybody else. I don't know. They should have some fun with the Rusicals and do something different. But yeah, this one, just nothing about it really compelled me at any point. So this was a C for me. Yeah.
Jonah, I am really curious, because I feel like 13 is a massive turning point for your fandom. Like, we've been with you, Jonah, we've been with you for years before we gave Drag Race a chance. And I'm sorry that it was so far into your fandom that we finally opened up our hearts to it. But I feel like 13 was a major turning point for you, where it was like bubbling under your skin like an infection. You were diseased with Drag Race at this point, and we caught it. And so I would love to know a little bit more about the point that changed you over a little bit. I meant, like, season 13 was like a real point in which we could no longer see you kind of hide it. How do you feel about social media, the unverified Rusical, all said and done?
I give this a B. I love Rose. I'm a big old Rose stan. I love Rose. She sounds amazing. She's absolutely the highlight, the best part. I'm so glad she auditioned and beat Denali for the role of Foxy. Like, that's what Foxy would do. But outside of that, this is a mismatch of a bunch of different musicals, a bunch of different musicals. Tina Burner's supposed to be the MC from.
Oh, you mean that man?
That man. Sorry to that
Leave her
man.
alone.
No, she's dressed like a man and she looks like a man. I'm
She's
a drag
dressed
king.
like Liza Minnelli.
No, she's dressed like Liza Minnelli, and like it is a man. I am a drag king. I do not put on boobs. I wear a mask, and I love my giant dick. But I swear to God, Tina Burner is dressed like a man on this stage.
We get a little bit of Cell Block Tango, and then we get Funny Girl. Even though I like the Funny Girl number, it's too much. It's they're trying to do too much. I don't know if everybody has the best performances. Some people have do, and it's not. I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me. Also, not just really weird subject matter. Like it's weird.
Kevo, I am so glad that you and I went on this drag race journey together. One of the things that I think has been so influential for me is having a mirror to kind of watch this with. Having people who watched it before me is so important to inform my preconceived decisions. But how did you feel about this as somebody who watched it with me live?
I feel like this is one of those musicals, like earlier, like I was saying, where it didn't leave as much of an impression on me. It was pretty okay, but I'm struggling to remember a lot of it other than flashes of the visuals. I didn't really super love it, so I'm probably going to go with C for this one.
Well, that brings us to a weird, I don't know, this is a weird one because I feel like this next Rusical is one that asks us to kind of think about what they're trying to craft as a story and what they're trying to do as a Rusical. This is definitely, like Tori said, after the turning point for Rusicals. And if I'm not mistaken, next up we have the halftime show, the Hall of Fame, and I don't want to cross streams too hard, but if you are making a really oblique reference to something that happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago and basing your entire summer on it, like a single issue of a comic book, fuck, you're weird. I love Carol Channing because I grew up really, really gay. I, in 5th grade, did a segment from the George and Gracie Burns Comedy Hour for my talent show. In 6th grade, I did an avant-garde performance as all 3 chipmunks doing the chipmunk song at Christmas. I am no stranger to wanting to channel weird elements of history. The look that everybody gave me when I said that Darren Criss and Adam Lambert doing Man with the Bag fulfilled my childhood said everything. Guys, ending this with Carol Channing was as stupid as you could possibly go. And not in that Michelle loves Rue, girl, you stupid way. This is stupid like crossing Adebisi in the 5th season of Oz. This is one of the worst. This is just one of the worst musicals. It had no theme. It had no concept. I love every single performance. No one did a bad job. But, you know what? Whether it is that Fergie is unrecognizable by a master of impressions, or it's Madonna by Eureka isn't bad compared to the others, this is a C for me in a way that very few performances from this show are. How do you guys feel? Tori, I want to go with you first because you're looking at me like I just pissed on your mom.
This is where I come up with the question marks of when they choose what the girls are going to portray. Is it based on like who they think they'll pick, and so they kind of push out with that? And because Pandora was still around, they were like, well, let's give her something that we know the fans are going to love, like that kind of thing. That's what hits me about this. But I liked it. I actually thought on second viewing that Ginger did a better job of giving me like Fergie face, because the judges were right. There's not that much about Fergie that's actually distinctive.
She could have pissed herself. She could have gone full plate. Where's the piss?
Could have covered
Where's
herself.
the piss, girl?
Go piss, girl.
Then piss.
They this was Trinity's breakout moment, which was very exciting for me. I enjoyed this, but on second viewing I forgot that it wasn't the Super Queens one from somewhere after AS3. So this is just, it's an A because it's very good, but it's not an S because I got confused.
TK, Jonah, how do you guys feel?
It's a D for me. Don't connect with this one at all. Don't enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. This is where the show really rides the line between when it gets the bigger budget and kind of knows what it's doing. Sometimes it really lifts everybody up and can make for some great performances and great budgets that allow the final product to seem really cool and interesting. And there are times where it just seems like it's much ado about nothing. There's just a lot of stuff happening, but none of it, I don't connect with any of it, and it feels a little soulless. And that is this one for me. I'm really positive on the rest of them going forward, though. So,
Did you go yet?
what about you, Jonah?
I give this an A. I think individually, I like most people's performances. It's really not a Rusical. It is not a Rusical. This is people doing halftime show performances, which is fine, but it's billed under the Rusical. I don't personally agree with that. So A for everything for the performance. If I'm ranking it specifically on Rusical and like how well does this translate to a musical, it probably would be a D in that criteria. But overall, I enjoyed what people did here. I loved Trinity in this. I loved Jan in this. Even the people that were like in the bottom, I thought people like Jada did well. They maybe didn't have the most stellar performances, but they still did well at what with certain aspects of it. So for me, I still give this an A.
What about you, Kevo?
I think I am gonna go B, because again, we watched a lot of these so fast. This one didn't really quite make the same impression on me as the others, so I think I'm gonna go B.
So, one of the things that is so necessary to talking about this more or less ridiculous franchise is that it really is designed around RuPaul and what makes RuPaul happy. And one of the things that makes RuPaul happy is thinking that she is Diana Ross. And I wonder how much things like Moulin Rouge are about capturing this idea that RuPaul's catalog is legend. It is famous because nothing made me angrier in this world than the amount of Leland in Moulin Rouge. You know what? For all the bing, bing, bong, ding, dang, dong, sing, sang song that found itself into this, that is so cute, made me happy. UK, hun. Leland getting like legitimate solo time is the director writing themselves in. And when you're David Lynch and you write yourself in to say they should change their hearts or die, it's amazing. But when you write yourself in to belt, when you write yourself in to emote more than the girls, the biggest problem with Moulin Rouge, the Rusical, as an entire thing, is that I would literally go see the Leland show, but this didn't say Moulin Rouge featuring Leland, and I would have rather seen one of the girls in boy drag singing Leland's vocals, and then it'd say vocals by Leland, and proudly, as a songwriter, proclaim this man. But I think of myself as a songwriter more than a performer. And I don't know that everybody here on this list agrees with me, because they might think I'm a better performer than a songwriter, and that's completely fine. But Leland, you're not an actor. You are not a performer. You are the voice of a queer generation singing themselves happy. Projecting yourself into the action here ruined the illusion. You became so much less than a Bernie Taupin. You just kind of became a Scooter Braun.
I asked myself, sort of, I guess, the reverse of the sexy lamp question, and I wondered, would this role be the same size if it was just played by a member of the pit crew? And no, it was astronomically larger. And I think that is the thing. A role this size is generally played by one of the queens. Even if it is a queen in somewhat male or masculine drag, it would be played by one of the queens, not someone who isn't even exactly a major guest star. Someone who is kind of, one of the people working on the show. That was a little weird. So I really hear where you're coming from. It makes me think of my reaction in 6th grade or whatever, 6th, 7th, to Tarzan, when Phil Collins did all of the songs in Tarzan. And I was like, the characters are supposed to sing this. It's not supposed to be pop singer Phil Collins. It's supposed to be the characters. And this sort of gave me those same vibes of, and I'm actually giving this one really high marks because I love this one in general, but I really do back you up with that being something that is very jarring for this Rusical.
And just on that topic, I just want to say thank you so much, J-Rome. We love you guys commenting on us and our commentary. We are so happy to share our voice with you. And please sound off on how you feel, because you might not agree with Kevo and I, who are clearly pretty in sync about this conversation. You might feel a little bit differently. Speaking of people who might feel a little bit differently, Tori, how do you feel about this one in particular? Is this one that necessarily gets you? Is this one that bugs you? You feeling good? You feeling bad? You feeling happy? You feeling sad? I'm listening.
This is my first S tier. Go team go. I loved this one. This was the one where I was like, they're really, really good at this now. I was not bothered by it being Leland. I think it's because we've seen so many times that when it's someone that's going to have a romance.
Tori, you should be bothered. He has my career. You should be bothered.
Well, we can discuss how to fix that part offline.
Guys,
okay.
Tori is the best person in the world. Everybody should just love her. Everybody just tell Tori she's beautiful. Thank you. We'll talk to you all later.
Okay, bye. So we really, so I'm not bothered by it because whenever we seem to have like the girls getting into a romantic role where it's supposed to be serious, they usually bring in a pit crew member or a Jeffrey or this Leland. So like, I was not bothered by the fact that he's the songwriter, I guess, and he appeared. I was like, okay, that makes sense. The fact that he wasn't good, I felt was really great because then it doesn't show up the girls. And so I wasn't bothered at all. I thought it was charming and also a great way to get a guy in there when they're under super COVID restrictions because it's 2021 when they were filming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had some pretty cool masking effects. I definitely appreciated seeing some hot, sexy boys covering just their dongs and faces.
Listen, it's Hollywood. What did you think, Jonah?
So when I first watched this while the season was airing live, it wasn't my favorite. I love certain people's performances. I think Lady Camden absolutely smashes it out of the park. I don't think anybody else could really play Mama Z outside of Camden. So watching this, I was like, all right, did I actually like this? What was it? And on rewatch, I thought to myself, okay, they're making a drag version of Moulin Rouge. And this kind of really succeeds heavily as a drag version of Moulin Rouge. It does everything that Moulin Rouge does. It mixes songs, even though they're all RuPaul songs. It adds a little bit of unique lyrics. The dancing is great. All the vocals are great. I would have preferred live singing, but or at least the Queen's recording. But I'll take what I can get. I give this an S.
Who played Ziegler here? Because they were, in my mind, one of the most incredible performances we've ever seen on Drag Race.
That was Lady Camden.
Thank you. I mean, and runner-up to the gods,
and won, I think, for this, right?
Yes, Lady Camden won.
Truly, as somebody who has spent his life dreaming of being in musicals, Lady Camden gave the performance of a lifetime.
This episode also won them an Emmy because of the fight between Bosco and Lady Camden.
Bosco, I just want to be clear. I don't confuse you with Gigi Good because you're both forgettable. I confuse you with Gigi Good because you both are so excellent and you mean so much to the guy in the fourth box. It is easy to forget when you are so blinded by two beautiful stars which one is which in which constellation.
That's not what he said to me when I misconstrued some lady from Designing Women with some lady from
hold on! There is no one in Designing Women who can be forgotten or mistaken for any other
but we
woman.
do have to move on.
Any pots?
Guys, at work today, I fought so hard to get a budget allocation of $275 to get a cameo from Annie Potts just to tell me that I'm doing a good job. And it's so strange it wasn't approved.
Wild. Corporate America. Who needs them?
Corporate America. I know RuPaul.
You did deserve Lance Pass, though.
I fought so hard for that Lance Pass cameo. It's embarrassing. Has anybody not given Moulin Rouge an S?
TK, did you go? I didn't think so.
Yeah, this is a B for me. It's I don't like Moulin Rouge at all.
Well, that's BS then.
That's fine. I don't like Moulin Rouge at all, so it's not really enjoyable for me in the first place. Camden is amazing. I do love the fight, but Bosco ate it. Bosco was told that she better do really well because she demanded this role, and she didn't do really well. Willow does so good at a role that wasn't...
Sucks.
Yeah.
The role
what
sucks.
A bummer because Willow could have done anything. And I think if I had seen that on paper, I would have thought it was the right thing for her too. It just ultimately didn't work. I don't know. There's nothing where I'm like, this is bad. I just don't enjoy Moulin Rouge at all. And then there's parts of it where I'm like, it just didn't get me excited to the point where I want to give it an A or an S. So it's a good B.
You know what? I really appreciate that you are saying that for you, perhaps it wasn't... I don't know. For you, perhaps it wasn't as special because Moulin Rouge doesn't hold the same place for you. Like, I'm counting down the seconds till I get to go see JoJo in Moulin Rouge. That she's coming back, that she's doing another turn in Moulin Rouge. That's so special. This is a show that I think Moulin Rouge made gay musicals cool in a way that Drag Race made drag cool. And so I think there's a special emotional way that I interact with it. You know what I mean? And just hearing somebody who doesn't have that sort of Baz Luhrmann is the greatest director and told me to wear sunscreen blinders, it really helps. Okay, I'm gonna give this a controversial D. I fucking hate Wig Loose the musical. This is the worst of all of the fake Rusicals. So many of the Rusicals are just openly stupid and dumb and want you to think they're dumb, but nothing in my life insults me more than when the entire judges panel talks to Anitra like she wrote and choreographed the song when it was written, choreographed, and performed by another fucking person. I saw Footloose on Broadway. Bad musical. I saw Footloose the movie. this is masturbation. This is some people who are very good at what they do, doing things they are very good at with the filter that makes them the most attractive. This is my least favorite Rusical, maybe by a large mile, and it's because it does not try. In an era where all that matters is how hard you try, because technology can make you amazing. I wanted more from Lucy, from Sasha, from Lux Noir London, one of the 5 best singers to ever be on this show. And she doesn't even sing. I have no patience for Wig Loose, my least favorite Rusical, from my absolute favorite season, featuring all of my absolute favorite queens. Even Selena S. Titties cannot save this. Everybody give your dissenting opinions. I understand I am on the Supreme Court right now.
I gave it an A because I loved it. But it was... It is admittedly a bad... Footloose is a bad musical start. This
oh my God! Have you ever seen it? Have you seen it?
I did. It was my... Kevo, it was my 7th grade New York City Broadway show.
Was it really? Oh my God, that was when I saw
Smokey
it too.
Joe's Cafe.
Lizzie,
I saw both of those.
My littlest sister, she saw previews of Wicked.
Mine was Smokey Joe's Cafe, and I was almost late for my showing of Phantom Menace. So, not my favorite.
Anyway, Footloose is not good. Wig Loose is a not great version of it. But the fun that they are having, the queen's doing a good job. I was very pleasantly entertained by the whole thing. I enjoyed myself. Now I know Lux Noir London can sing, and I look forward to finding out how confidently she does so.
She has the most beautiful voice. It sounds like satin rubbing against silk, and that even has some butter between it.
Good for her.
Good for her. Seriously, it's annoying. As a vocalist, it is annoying.
What did you think, Jonah or TK?
I give this an S. This is everyone just did so amazing. Again, I don't often keep into the actual episode. I want to keep it to the actual musical. But this was just a very beautiful production story for Anitra, talking about her family and how difficult it's been with them, to kind of healing being her own drag mom. Everything about it was just really beautiful. The entire episode, I think, is really iconic and amazing, and I know much in thanks to being a stellar challenge where everybody did a phenomenal job.
This is a B for me. I agree with everything that everybody is saying, and so it averages out to a B. The two things, Footloose, I like less than Moulin Rouge somehow, and they're not singing, and there's no reason for them not to have done a studio session. Again, like, I think the girls who can sing, there are enough of them that it would have been fine, but like, I would have loved to have heard what Sasha brought to it. Sasha's obviously not a great singer, but I would have liked to have seen her figure out how to perform. Mistress, again, not a great singer, but I would have liked to have seen her perform.
Well, if I can just really quickly, I want to just credit that music is by Leland. Lyrics are by Leland, Tom Campbell, Michael Siegelman, and John Polly. It's produced and instrumentated by Gabe Lopez, with additional story by the lyricists. Vocals for Heaven Bacon are by John Flanagan. Mama Bacon are by Honey La Rochelle. Preacher Teacher, are by Kooks Leonard. Christian Preacher Teacher is by Vincent! I just want to be really clear. Everybody else's name is in normal, but Vincent, all cap locks. So I felt the need to say it like a monster. Carl is by Leland. Good for Carl. Tuck is by Square! All caps. And background vocals are, of course, by, like any Broadway show, everybody that was in it. Leland, Gabe Lopez, Gabrielli, and Michael Arellano. It's just sort of like important to take a minute to say that when the incredible performers that acted out the show and represented the show visually didn't get to be in it, these incredible vocalists did. You know, we joke about Milli Vanilli, and I say we joke about Milli Vanilli because RuPaul loves to make Milli Vanilli jokes. But like, let's just make sure that when it seems like they're purposely casting people who sound like Sasha, that sound like Lucy, we're crediting those people, you know, because TK, you changed my life with Chrissy. I have a trillion covers planned that are just her entire catalog. And I didn't come in to understand that she was a queer icon until she made Plain Jane look like a chump. Who has not wig loosed?
You go?
Yeah, I think Jonah went. Kevo, do you wig loose?
I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna err on the same side as TK.
I love it. I'm just going to say that I think that the content of Joan the Rusical deserves a D. I think Joan is a horrible person. I think she's a nightmare. I think she abused children. I think that's something we should consider. We should occasionally ding bad people for badness. I don't know. I think they did a really good job making it entertaining. I think that Jimbo is like literally flawless as a performer. I think that if I were anybody on this season with Jimbo, I would have felt like they literally gave Jimbo incredible marks for average performances. I don't think that Joan is Jimbo's best at all. I think the person who really deserves to win this season based on Joan alone is Candy Muse. That performance, that understanding of an art form, incredible. Joan really is a vision of what a Rusical could be. And I think this is an example of where the show got it right. I give this an A only because S's should be rare, and I've only given 2. So how do you guys feel about Joan the Rusical?
I am in the same boat as you. I think I feel the exact same way. I don't know if we should be revering someone like Joan. It's one of those things where I understand this person's art means a lot to a lot of people, but the person behind the art was also not the best kind of person. And the musical even kind of highlights a lot of that. So it just feels a little weird. That being said, it's a pretty fantastic musical, and that's really bizarre, at least in my eyes. I think everyone does great. Rewatching it again, I was like, okay, I kind of like the songs. I think people really do good. I see why Candy won. I give it an A.
I gave it an A. I don't. I'm a terrible gay who doesn't know much, so I really don't know anything about Joan Crawford outside of the basics, meme kind of moments. So I enjoyed all of this. I can't tell you who played who because I haven't watched the season yet, and I suffer from severe drag queen face blindness at all times. So it's an A in genre. What do you think, TK?
Yeah, it's an A for me too. This is a good one. I do think, take points away for Joan Crawford, but I do think, as Jonah pointed out, like they're cognizant of the fact that she's not a good person. It's not like, oh, what a queen, how fun. And I do think Candy's really fantastic. I do think Jimbo's fantastic. Overall, this is just a very good, clean, solid, fun time.
Yeah, but I also definitely see where Nico's coming from as well, and I don't love the content, but I think I'm going to praise it a little bit higher than the others. There's a lot more distance. The people who were involved have all said their pieces as well. It is a retelling of a retelling of a retelling of this history, so I'm going to go with at least a C.
The Sound of Rusic, this is one where the fact that it's 12 minutes long and the queens don't sing is so frustrating. They pick people who sound like Saphira. They pick people who sound like the queens, but this is just sort of a B. It goes on for too long. It's kind of boring. It's fun, and Plasma does a great job, but Plasma does a great job across 14 genres, and none of which actually really fit the Sound of Rusic. It's a B, but it's a fun B.
Today for me, I I really like this one. I think everybody has really good energy and performance. Plasma really does do fantastic. Saphira also really does fantastic. But then, like, the side groups, I remember really being focused on every single person. You know, Morphine was really good. The entire cast brought something to it that made it enjoyable. I also really like The Sound of Music. I do think you're right, Nico, that, like, ultimately, song-wise, but this is one that I did enjoy watching and didn't kind of find myself white knuckling through the way that I had been other Rusicals in the recent years, with the exception of Joan.
Tori, how do you feel about a sort of Rusical that was designed for the YouTubeification of Drag Race?
Oh, I just thought it was a version of Sound of Music where we just brought it into the 21st century. I liked it. I gave it an A. I really liked the version of the Do Re Mi song. I thought it was really fun, really enjoyable. I didn't quite understand what the Baronesses were doing, but it's fine. Yeah, I was very charmed by it, considering I don't know anybody on it. How about you, Jonah?
I give this an A as well. I think the music is great. I've never seen The Sound of Music. I just know it's 3 hours and about escaping the Nazis. So
Fascinating.
That's about as far as my knowledge. So I actually don't know how well this follows the parodying the plot of The Sound of Music, but I do know that it does have a couple of the jokes, like, what is it you can't face? Rue loves that joke. You are 16 going on 17. These are some of my favorite things. Well, me insert other thing. I don't think they did a So Long, Farewell. I don't think they did a
The
parody
Baroness did a little bit of that included So Long and Farewell in her lyrics. I kept waiting for the Auf Wiedersehen. When you get into 3, then you're like, this is definitely what that is.
Got it. Okay. But overall, again, nobody really does bad this one. I love Plasma smashes it out of the park. Saphira smashes it out of the park. Even Q, even rewatching it on Q and knowing that Q has a musical, has like a theater background, Q does great. Now, I won't spoil too much. I don't agree with what the judges specifically said that episode, but Q definitely did amazing. Q played the Baroness.
Okay.
Tori.
Yeah, she did great.
Saphira was the head, not none. And Plasma was Mariah.
Mariah was very good.
Even though they gave Plasma a hateful wig. But even with the hateful wig, I gave it an A.
Well, that brings us to our very last vote. And I am very excited to cast a very excited S for the most recent Rusical. I didn't love the Rusical, but I loved the performance. I loved the intention. I loved the focus. I love that Rosemarie's baby shower actually was people performing characters. Something that I find really frustrating is when they just kind of like go for tropes. This was characters, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also really loved, again, like, I love professionalism. I love when people show up and do their version of the thing. Chanel figuring out how to sing when she can't sing. Georges bringing the best that she could to it. And ultimately, succeeding. Ultimately winning the challenge. I mean, everybody, I thought, just really was so professional and so did that thing that they've been saying since season 6. Figure out what you're good at and apply it to the challenge. Everybody did that in this, and it created a really interesting Rusical.
Yeah,
Tori, what do you got?
I really, really enjoyed this. This is an S tier for me. I had a fantastic time. I thought Plastique knocked it out of the park. I thought Nina knocked it out of the park. I thought everyone was firing on a lot of cylinders. I was really very impressed that the girls actually chose things they would be good at to succeed in, and then did so. So yeah, I had a really great time. I love all the horror in jokes, and I think it's one of the more successful ones we have. How about Jonah?
Jonah, I was nervous going into this, and we'll talk about it on Sunday.
Yep.
I was kind of blown away by how amazing everybody did. Also, from a technical point of view, this was an actual musical.
Mhm.
Like, it had a plot. We had a main character. Like, things progressed naturally. We had songs that actually explained how characters feel, it just feels very bizarre they put so much effort into this. Now, I also see. I'll save any other comments about specific things, but I think everybody did amazing. I did think it was the proper top two. I thought those people really did. Chanel and Georges did amazing. Truthfully, everyone did amazing. Even when they very fascinating how they showcased them coming back. But Roxy being like, "We did that. We really did that." Really was like, "Yo, this episode. It really put my faith back in the season, if that makes sense." I think All Stars 9 was losing its way just a little, but everybody having such a stellar performance this episode with a really, and who doesn't? We're all queer, we're all gay, we love horror movies, we love this shit, we eat this shit up. We go, this is amazing. Yeah, S.
Ironically, for someone who was a Buffy fan as it was airing, I was never really a horror person, and I didn't really get that about myself more until I was in adulthood, that I was drawn to the fantasy and those elements more than the horror. I've more come into enjoying horror in my adulthood, and yeah, I really feel like everyone, to a surprising degree even, very handily accomplished all of the tropes that they were taking on, especially Georges. I think I was so impressed, especially with how nervous she had been, and I am absolutely looking forward to talking about this one more in depth when we go into our fuller coverage of this episode, when we do our drag brunch coverage on Sunday morning. But in the meantime, this is an S from me, dog. So the link for the tier maker will remain live. There is still about 19 and a half hours left to get your vote in. And if we remember, we will come back to what the final rankings for this were when we do our coverage for this on Sunday.
Nice.
Cannot wait for that. This was a great episode, so I am excited to talk about the whole thing. And yeah, I mean, I just really loved this Rusical, and my two S's are the first and the last. So I feel like it's a beautiful package we've put together here.
It's an S itself. It's a little lemniscate. It's a beautiful, beautiful. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Cute.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up? Anybody?
What do you think the next one will be?
Ooh.
I mean, we're really at a crossroads now. I think it'll probably be next season. It'll be another musical Rusical. It'll be like another spoof of an actual musical. But I mean, it could be anything at this point, because they're those three, Wig Loose, Sound of Music, and what's it called, are not Moulin Rouge, are not like the most popular musicals of the day right now.
No.
You know what they haven't done yet, which will be topical soon, is Wicked. So I wonder if that.
Oh, that's a really good answer, Kevo. It might be Wicked.
Might be Wicked.
If I have a hope, my hope, Hadestown. It's not going to be. That's my hope.
That'd be a great one too. Yeah.
Well, that actually would be a really great one, because it's kind of public domain character. Like they
we could just play a different god or goddess or mythological
exactly.
hero.
Yeah.
See,
Tori.
but the other thing is that it has to have some kind of draggy thing that you can change the name into.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we might just get like a Donna Summer musical finally. I think that's where we're amping towards.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
It's one summer, right? It's not two summers.
Yeah, Donna Summer. Just the one.
Just the one.
It's only when Tracy Ellis shows up, then it's the two summers. But
Gotcha.
on its own, it's just Diana.
Perfect.
Well, we're having quite a Donna summer, aren't we? So,
Truly.
My hair can't get any bigger in this humidity.
But Tori, where can everybody find you if they want to talk about your big hair?
If they want to talk to me about big hair, they can come on down to Instagram or other socials at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I. Jonah, where can the folks find you?
You can find me places at Peak Jonah. That's Peak. Kevo, where can everybody find you?
oh, I did it right that time. Yay. I'll get used to it one day. It's staged left and right.
terrible
Well,
at this.
we'll get it. We'll get there. And in the meantime, you can find me over on the socials, just like everyone else. And you can find me at Kev O'Reilly. That's KEVOREALLY. Teak, where can the folks don't find you, sir?
You can find me at TK Elemental on all the socials.
Yay!
And of course, you can find the show everywhere at X's for Show. Shout out to Nico, who had to cut a little early, but you can find him at Nico Action, and you can find his music at Nico Action Music. Yeah.
Gotta do 3 things for us, folks. That's like,
Of
comment,
course.
subscribe. And then there's 3 other things. You have to live, laugh, love.
Save,
Thank you and
save.
good night, everybody.
Eat, pray,
gotta-
love.
No, I want to honor it. We really do.
Yes, we
because
should.
we love our fearless leader. And
do.
we, of course, also want you to stay safe, be brave, and evolve daily. And join us when we come back every week to do what we do, but especially this Sunday when we will be covering the further details of this episode of the Rusical. And in the meantime, check out some of our other coverage, and we'll see ya.
Bye.